folks, and welcome back here to Gatekeeper Media as we bring you the conclusion of the 2022 Des Moines Challenge out in Iowa at Pickard Park. We're with our chase card after, some issues with scheduling earlier due to lightning delays. Everything's now back in order for our final round, and so we can't wait to follow our chase card here. Again, a special thank you, of course, to our Patreon supporters who help make all this coverage possible. Once again, here in the virtual commentary booth will be myself, Dustin Mouret, joined by Nathan Queen.
We've had some strange conditions out here this weekend. So a lot of players ended up playing 2 rounds in the same day. Best scoring conditions we've seen so far today, that we have today. You see it, we have a tight card here with a 15 down and 3 14 downs.
Yeah, we got a couple of new faces as well, kind of on the podium with Evan Smith and Robert Burridge. So these guys trying to run them down as we start getting some bags.
Yeah, Jake Hebenheimer going to be putting with the PA3s. Probably throwing the Comet and Drone for his mid-ranges. And then, as you can see, really leaning on those Destroyers for his distance drivers, but he'll mix in a Ballista Pro or a Wraith sometimes also.
Yeah, and Paul McBeth, of course, putting and throwing the Luna and Zone for approaches. Going to be using the Captain's Raptor today a lot, I imagine, as well as the Onyx, the Zeus, and several different forces he'll be using for distance today.
Getting into Kevin Jones' bag, putting with the PA3, throwing those M2s for his mid-ranges. Can't skip over that distortion he's got for his putters also, and then going to be leaning on the reverbs and the D2s.
We get the Mason 4, putting with the EMAC Judge. We'll see him using as well the Fuse for some mid-ranges as well as the Truth rather. Also likes to get away for a fairway driver, and you'll see some enforcers and defenders for some more distance.
Straight into hole 1, a bit easier than yesterday as we don't have that ripping headwind, but still 815 feet OB down the right side and left. Got to get a big tee shot to be able to have a chance to access this green.
Got Jake Hebenheimer leading things off here. Been a full-time pro since 2018. Has 16 career MPO wins. Earlier this year, we saw him place 3rd at the Dynamic Disc Open as well as 20th at Jonesboro. And he's very well known for his unique putting style.
Indeed, he also has a ton of distance. Kevin Jones has shouted him out as the top 3 distance thrower a few times, I've heard him say. And pumps out a nice hyzer there.
Paul McBeth. Of course, Paul McBeth, the 5-time world champ, doesn't need much of an introduction. Everyone should know him. Currently sitting at number 4 in the UDIS World Rankings and 3rd in our Pro Tour points. Did have the win at Waco earlier this year. Has many other podium finishes this year to go along with it.
So getting a nice drive out within a few feet of Jake.
Let's give it up for KJ USA Kevin Jones.
And we got Kevin Jones, a.k.a. DJ KJ, a.k.a. Jump Putt Jones, or KJ USA. Known by many monikers, but certainly doing well this year, sitting 11th in UDIS World Rankings and 7th in the Pro Tour points.
Yep, and conditions proving much better today. Another great drive.
Mason Ford.
Get to Mason Ford, who's within the top 30 in the UDIS World Rankings and 17th in the Pro Tour points. Saw him get 10th at the Beaver State Fling, 11th at OTB Open, and several other top 20 to 25 finishes on tour, and known for his very smooth form.
And you see those banners in the background going to be moving right to left for this fairway. It really lets these players air it out over that OB rather than having to force something overstable yesterday with that headwind.
Again, still a very tough green to access, like you said, unless you get a lot of distance off the tee. But, man, Ford throws a great backhand. Gets him in the circle.
Incredible shot for it to hang straight that long and not really fade. You're going to see most players go with what McBeth is doing here, going with the forehand, try to get into this green.
Whoa. Got some steam on that thing.
Yeah, ended up a bit long. Gonna have to deal with that big tree now. out in circle 2 or right on the edge of circle 1.
Yeah, the forehand or any left to right moving shot is usually the best way to approach this green, but Mason Ford showed you that it's possible other ways. As Hebenheimer gets his forehand up there.
Jones also going with that forehand, but stood it up a little bit too much. Gonna be inside circle 2, putting a bit downhill. If you skip off the top from this position, you can get some OB back there.
Oh, and the putt will find the OB. That is so unfortunate for Kevin Jones.
Man, I didn't mean to call that.
Caster's curse in the future, Nathan. Tisk tisk. You are going to see McBeth able to straddle out there for birdie.
And a nice one to start the round. This hole did still average over par today, although it played much easier than the second round.
Yeah, also worth noting that McBeth actually had broken the course record during his second round out here. I believe it was 12 under par.
Yeah, definitely so. Moved up 99 spots to get to our
Yeah,
chase
that's right.
card today.
Of course, he was one of those players that did have to play both full rounds on day one.
Right, and that can definitely be draining. These MPO players aren't used to really waking up in the mornings that often anymore, so tough to get started for some of them. And he did definitely showcase better in the afternoon, as you said, with that 12 under par.
Yeah, that's after also having broken the course record at W.R. Jackson earlier this year at Champions Cup. And I believe he had one other course record this year as well. So he's making moves at certain points in time throughout the course of a tournament, as we see 3 birdies there on hole 1. Getting to hole 2.
746-foot par 4. Make it up and around this corner to about this position is going to give you the best opportunity to approach this green. If you hang it up to the right side of this tree, you have a better opportunity to stay close to the pin.
And here we go. Hebenheimer will be taking the box once more. Is going to find that OB pushing too far forward.
Some of that distance I was talking about earlier, not quite able to control it as much as he needed to there. Gave it lots of height, but still just too much speed.
I thought that has usually been the common mistake on hole 2 if there's going to be one, just pushing too far forward off the tee. But McBeth able to get into a great position.
Mason putting a nice hyzer out there as well. Gonna jump up just to the right of those trees. Should have a good opportunity to reach the green. And surprisingly, this hole is the 3rd easiest on the course today. It's not all that far, but there's lots of OB to deal with, and you've got a bit of a low ceiling up here. 56% of the field, that's 66 players, were able to get the birdie on this one today.
Hebenheimer trying to see if he can at least save par, puts himself near the edge of circle 1 with that forehand approach. Ooh, a little short there from Ford.
Very nice shot from Paul there. Nestle up nicely, is going to have a tap in. About 15 feet left.
Kevin Jones able to fight through the tree and gets a little roll here, but unfortunately towards the end of the roll goes into the bushes.
Too bad of a bid there, able to stay close. Should be able to tap in that par.
As you can see, Jones didn't really have much there from that lie. Here's Hebenheimer trying to save par. And just a little high.
Yeah, looks pretty clean. Gonna wipe away that birdie he just took on one, though.
McBeth going back-to-back here. Also, he also got to do the first pitch at the White Sox game, I believe that was. So, shout out to that.
I think he pretty neat. He got to do that. I believe it was the Wednesday or Thursday before the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Brings us into hole 3, brand new hole this year, 320 feet downhill. Playing pretty difficult. Again, you've got these trees we're passing on the right now that kind of guard this green once you do get around the corner. Pretty specific angle you have to hit as well. I think sidearm plays the best if you can avoid getting a skip into the water.
Yeah, agreed. Surprised to see McBeth going for backhand. That thing goes way deep. Oh, no, I have not really seen that happen to someone.
Yeah,
Wow.
Surprised to see him go with the backhand and surprised it got through there so cleanly also. There's tons of stuff that could have hit.
Yeah, it's been the big talk of this hole is some of these guardian trees at the end just feel a little bit of a dice roll to get through. McBeth got too good into the OB. Ford comes up nice, though, inside the circle. Oh, my.
Kevin Jones getting down there through the gap. Take a look at his form here. Such a clean, smooth release, very level with that forehand. His arm, his elbow to his hand was the same level the whole time.
And Hebenheimer getting caught up there. This really has been kind of the thing that sometimes players can fall victim to on this hole, but at least able to pitch up and make sure he gets his par.
Speaking of par, Paul's got a long chance to get that here. Just outside of circle 1, probably 40 feet.
Great save. His putting's definitely really been hitting a solid level these last few months. He's really got it back in tune. Back to what we expect.
Yeah, not much wrong with that putt there. Keeps him 2 down for the round now. Mason Ford trying to get to that point. Able to connect nicely. Great putt.
Yep, 2 down through 3. Again, I believe his best finish on tour so far is 10th. And he's sitting in a tie for 5th right now, so maybe looking for his best result of the year if he can keep up this pace. As Kevin Jones will grab a birdie as well to get himself back to even.
Let me into my zone. Please don't let me into my zone. 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 Please don't let me in. Please don't let me into my zone. I just need some time of my own. All these people trying to get a conversation. You can conversate to that tone. My God up on that throne, yeah. So I'm never alone, yeah. Ballin' can't beat me up, cause I'm back in my zone now.
here we are at hole 4. Another difficult par 3, 476 feet downhill. Gotta carry the water. You don't make it in bounds, you have to go to a drop zone that's 55 feet, putting straight at the water.
Yeah, this is
There's some layup play.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry about it. There's some layup plays off to the left, but I believe we'll see most players go for this one.
Yeah, it's kind of the play that Ford did. It's kind of a common landing zone over there inside circle 2. I mean, if you want to park this hole, you're having to carry a lot more water, swing your disc out a lot wider, it becomes a bit more risky. But as you were kind of talking about, Nathan, I mean, the weather conditions were better today, so it was a little easier to attack. It's Jones. Pins that thing.
Almost giving it the ace run. Going to be in great position to grab a birdie here today.
McBeth certainly looking to get aggressive with that line. That's tracking the ball. My goodness. Oh, man.
I think that was a little better ace run there. And let's take a look at Paul's form. Obviously, some of the best around.
My goodness, man.
So clean. So fun to watch. Almost spikes it in right there.
Oh, Hebenheimer needs that thing to stay up.
We need a Reed Frescura Waters triple skip right here. But not quite able to get it. He's going to have to go to that very scary drop zone. But we're going to watch Paul tap in his birdie first.
Yeah, I was curious. It looked like he almost hit metal. He did win a CTP, apparently. You see the flag getting picked up?
Well, yeah, I guess if you're Paul, you don't even have to write your name down. People remember.
We have the video evidence, Nathan. We have the technology. So we are going to see a layup there from Hebenheimer, as that is not a drop zone you really want to mess with. Same for Ford, really.
Nice birdie from Kevin, bouncing back after that bogey on hole 1, able to get under par for the round now. There were 29 players to birdie this hole, but 38 taking a bogey or above, making it the hardest hole on the course today. Before we move into hole 5, 332-foot par 3. Island hole, a lot easier water carry than the last, but still a pretty tight green. Have to make sure you pinpoint it.
Yeah, forehand a pretty good choice on this hole, and Kevin Jones. A little deep, but still fine.
I do like forehand here. I think there's a little bit more space. You don't have to worry about that tree late.
Uh-oh. Okay, I was concerned for a moment there, but lines up fine.
Definitely came out early. He was looking to swing that out wide.
And this is what you were talking about with the backhand route. Definitely a little bit more congestion to worry about, but Ford navigates around it just fine.
Oh yeah, and drops in nicely. He's going to go ahead and tap in his birdie. Just enough distance there. You really put a lot on that. That was an overstable disc. Just barely enough glide to make it.
I believe that was McBeth just pitching out.
It looked like he was definitely trying to make that one. And that's a scary one to run when you're out of position on this. Quite a sloped green here. You see Jake trying to give his a run also. With his interesting putt there, he actually steps to his mini, so he is not foot faulting on that. He is stepping from behind his mini, placing his foot up to it before he releases.
Well, don't tell that to the keyboard warriors out there, Queen. They know
Trying
those
to keep
rules.
them down a little bit.
Yeah, you gotta swat down the haters every now and then. There's KJ getting a turkey here early on.
Beth gonna need another nice putt to save the par here.
Oh, a little high. Takes a bogey. Was not expecting that. Hebenheimer as well, having a couple of knocks here early on in the front nine. See if he can course correct.
Moving into hole 6. 672-foot par 4. Very fun shot. Can really lean into one with that right-handed backhand if you're trying to reach out to that 500 feet mark or even more. Leave yourself an easy up shot, but there is some OB on the left side you could fade out into. You've got to avoid those thick woods on the right as well.
Yeah, really looking for as center placement as you can get on this hole to open up the usually forehand approach into the green. I think that bounced out for Jones. Couldn't really tell. Man, that's a
Mason
mash.
Starting this one. Yeah, absolutely. Starting that one out way right and just barely stays in bounds right there on that stake.
Saved by the stake, it looked like there for a second. Although it was moving pretty slow at that point. I think it probably would have stayed in no matter what. This is in risk, though.
Indeed it is. And now it is out of bounds. He's going to have to try to get up and down from that point for a par now. He'll still get all that distance, though.
Good flight there from Hebenheimer. Gets him centered.
Absolutely pins that forehand. That is the best play the farther back you are. Have to get around this corner. He puts it up there 15 feet away.
And you can see, even with Kevin staying out of the woods, it's still a very tight angle. It forces you to put more angle on it. And so didn't quite get it forward enough. McBeth puts himself in good position to save the par after the OB off the tee. And forward, I mean, this is a great lie.
Yeah, he could throw about whatever he wants to right here. Still opting for that forehand. And that's exactly how you want to play the hole.
Oh, no doubt
Can't
about
do
that.
much better.
Oh, man, that was close. Thought we were about to get an early appearance from Jump Punt Jones here on the front nine. Just a little high.
Just a little bit. And you see there, he's adjusted his putt some from earlier on this year. I believe he was stepping into all of them. So now he's from that closer range. Still that same horseshoe style or cornhole style. The Hebenheimer style putt, I'll say.
There you go. We'll let him have it.
Yeah.
We'll be back after a short break to finish off this front nine.
My name's Garrett Gerthy. People may know me as Double G, and I've been making Double G craft jerky since I was 16 years old.
I'm always a snacker, so about halfway through, I always find myself reaching for that bag of Double G jerky.
My favorite has got to be the garlic lover's dream. You just can't go wrong with garlic and beef jerky.
That middle of the round, you get into that slump. I'm going to reach for that Double G craft jerky to help me finish strong.
So most of you can't throw like Double G, but if you get his craft jerky, you can certainly eat like him. go out and get some Double G craft jerky.
You can find Double G Craft Jerky at doublegjerky.com.
Here they're going to help out some for next year. Bringing us into hole 7, beautiful par 3, 340 foot, plays probably about 35 foot uphill, making the distance play roughly 380 to 390, but you have to hit this tight gap off of the tee. If you've got the forehand distance, the angle works well. Otherwise, this backhand, you're going to have to put a little bit of flex on it, but don't put too much angle. You get caught and hang over the entire flight, kind of like this one's doing. Gonna be in that hazard putting from that position for his par.
Comes up short as well for Jake. Like it was panning out, but just didn't quite get all the way back over. So 0 for 2 so far here. Jones is looking for forehand.
And gets some carry off to the left early, but fights back nicely. He's going to be inside the circle for his birdie look.
McBeth just fades out too much, and so only one player makes the island. That's Kevin Jones. Everyone else putting for par from the hazard.
Yeah, I wonder if they could be dealing with a difficult wind here. I saw on one of those shots over towards the right side, we'll see now it looks like a headwind. I think there's some swirly wind going on. It looked like on those first 2 shots that dove over to the right, there was a right to left going on that just packed that angle down once those discs turned over. But now with the headwind, yeah, it's probably just swirling around on them. Makes it very difficult to know what to do from the bottom of that hill.
Yeah, I imagine a lot of that wind is something you can't really feel that easily from the tee. So definitely makes this hole even tougher. As Jones will grab the birdie. 3 down through these last 4 holes. Making up for that
birdie on
bogey.
hole 3 as well. Mason Ford quietly putting a round together as he was 4 down up to this point.
Yeah, was certainly doing well. This will knock him back a little bit, but still in a tie for 4th. A couple holes left to go on this front 9. As we just had 2 holes left to go before the front half of this final round comes to a conclusion.
Again, I feel like I say it a lot out here, but another fun hole that we get to play. 560 foot downhill. Just rip your driver out there, let it drift off to the right and slightly fade back. Avoid that OB on the left and don't turn it over too much, but just a fun shot to really open up on here.
Yeah, pretty downhill, so pretty much reachable for everyone. Jones is going to come up a little shorter than he wanted to, but in circle 2.
Mason really pushing the right side of this fairway. Turns out nicely. Also going to be right there around circle's edge. Jake's going to be one that has to kind of tee it back a little bit here. Make sure he doesn't go too far.
I mean, this is on a beautiful line. I'll say that. Oh, no. Not like that, man.
Man, I really haven't watched this round before. I feel like I've called out a couple things a little early.
I'm starting to wonder a little bit on my seat. I'm not going to lie to you, Queen.
I haven't watched it, I promise.
Fair. McBeth will be well out in circle 2, first to putt. Just a little low. Good bid.
That's a tough one to give a bid.
Absolutely, with that
It
OB
gets-
right there.
Yeah, it gets very quick.
And there's the jump putt Jones we know and love. Gets right back down to 4 under.
Not afraid of that one at all. Let's take a look at that rewind. Dead center. Mason Ford looking to not get big putted. Just slightly left side. Not a bad looking putt though.
As Hebenheimer needs that to get down.
Oh no.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. It's just things you hate to see, man.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, he's gonna elect to re-putt, I believe, because he's got a better angle from where he was before. And that's a nervy putt. That's a great putt to make. Got to practice it one time. And after 2 OB strokes, he's going to end up with the double bogey. Paul McBeth tapping in a par.
Man, that's a rough break.
That's too brutal. And a lot of chance to go OB right here on the next shot as well. Blind, 15 feet uphill immediately. Get it 2 nose up, you're going to fade out OB left. Torque it over too hard, you probably don't have enough time to come back. Just an interesting shot here. You don't really see something like this too often.
Jones nails it, though. I feel like often the more successful shots usually start a little more to the right than his did, but he had a great flight and is very much looking for birdie here. That's more the line I expect.
Yeah, that is what you see more often. I feel like Kevin kept his low enough that it just never really caught that air to drift off to the left side.
It's a fair point. Different strokes for different folks.
Well, it's just tough to keep it that low. You don't see it too often because it is very hard to do.
So far, everyone here on the card is getting some action on hole 9. We'll see if Jay can use this as an opportunity to bounce back. Don't see this shot too often on this hole. Flex forehand.
No, I'm kind of surprised that we haven't seen it more often, and that's why right there it gives you a little more room to flex it off to that left side where there actually is a bit more room as you fight back right. We've got a good chance for a star frame here if that was the furthest.
Yeah, that would be a great way to finish things off here for our final front 9 of the Des Moines Challenge. McBeth does his part to kind of build up that story.
Yeah, it looks like we've got a bit of a headwind coming at him. Still inside 20, 22 feet right here.
No way, dude.
Oh, and that definitely looked like the wind just blew that right out. Oh, man, he is not having much luck out here at Pickard Park today.
No, that just back-to-back holes, it just really get knocked around. Mason Ford lets that one slip. Oh my goodness.
I think I just made the same face as Mason did sitting over here. I can't believe that.
Yeah, it looked like the disc rose out of his hand, even though that was not a headwind he was putting into.
The flags just switched to headwind for him as you were saying that.
Wow. What a weird finishing hole. What a weird way to end it. Man. Anyway, take a look at the leaderboard here. You can see Robert Burridge actually in the lead at this point through 9 holes. Simon 2 strokes behind. Kevin Jones fighting for a podium spot. And yeah, it's been some interesting golf to say the least here on the front 9. We appreciate you all for tuning in. And of course, special thank you to the Patreon supporters who help make this coverage possible. I'll let you follow and subscribe so you can catch the back 9 here for DMC, as well as our future coverage for different events coming up here, including Worlds right around the corner. And again, I'm Dustin Mouret. With me is Nathan Queen, and we'll see you next time.